Well, hello. Um, this is a review of The Witcher series that just came out on Netflix the 20th of December 2019. And I just want to make a sort of short review discussion. I'll start by saying, personally, I loved it, right? And I think it works for people who don't know stuff about The Witcher, right? Because you might have just played Witcher 3, you might have played all the games, you might have read all the books, or you might have read all the books and played all the games. Anything like that, right? And you know stuff about The Witcher, and then I think it's incredible. But me personally, I didn't know much about it. Like, I got The Witcher 3, I got The Witcher 3 for free with my graphics card back in 2014. And I played that a bit. Played probably for a couple hours. Back then I didn't like those type of games. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I do now. Then in 2017 I played it a bit, but I don't know. I wasn't bored of the game at all, but I don't know. I just didn't like it. Like when I played it for a couple of hours, I was like, no, I don't want to play anymore. And I don't really know why. Anyway, then the show was announced, and I thought, I'll probably watch that. And then Henry Cavill was announced, and I was like, that's a bit weird, but it worked out perfectly in the end. I think he's a perfect Geralt. He just really nails Geralt. Like, he does an amazing job. He's definitely one that lifts the show a lot. Like, he's an amazing Geralt. Like, also really the physicality of the character. Like, the combat in the show is really amazing. The sword combat, especially with Geralt. Like, he's done such an amazing job of transforming into Geralt. And apparently, he's also a big fan of Witcher 3. He's played that game multiple times. So, Henry Cavill is a gamer, confirmed. Now, I want to touch on the other characters, right? Yennefer and Ciri, not really Triss. Yennefer. Personally, I didn't mind her. Like, I really enjoyed her character's, her story, her arc, like the beginning, and then her, like, wanting power, and then her whole arc, right, in this series, and that's all something to do with timelines and I'll talk about timelines later in the review, but I really enjoyed her, and I really enjoyed the way they've built the character, right, throughout the whole series. Now, Ciri, right? If you play Witcher 3, you'll know about Ciri. Anyway, Ciri. It's a bit of a not a tough one, but like the way Ciri is put into the show. Okay, basically, I'm just gonna explain here. The show is built in the way that the Geralt stuff we see are short stories that, The Last Wish, for example. Anyway, there are short stories that, name of the book. There's short stories that take place before the main book, which means Yennefer and Ciri aren't in these short stories, and that's why they have the timeline thing, which I'll talk about later. So yeah, they built those two characters into the show in terms of their future and stuff, and I really enjoyed that. And Ciri is basically, I don't want to spoil anything, but she's running away from something, and we don't really see much of her, or we see her journey and stuff, but I didn't hate her or anything, but personally I think that's my least liked part of the show, but I don't dislike it. I still like Ciri's story. Like, it's still a good story, I think. But if I have to choose something, I think that's what I dislike the most. The actress who plays her, I think, what's her name? Freya Allen, I think her name is. It's definitely Freya something. Anyway, she said that also for season 2, she hopes for more action for her, which I do as well. Ciri needs more action scenes and more screaming. And then there's the Bard, or Dandelion, or in the show he's called, I think, was it Jaskier or something? I don't know. The Bard, down the line in the games. The Bard, who, by the way, I think is great. Like, played really well. He's great. He can get a bit annoying, but I think, a lot of times he's pushing forward the story and really helping the atmosphere, right? Because Geralt is this, on the outside at least, he's this really serious, whereas as the Bard can really lighten up the mood. By the way, the song is amazing. You have to search this up on Google. Toss a coin to your witcher. Oh, valley of plenty. Oh, valley. Anyway, fucking amazing song, by the way. That song is really good. I know I've said this time and time again now, but it's a really good song. Anyway, that's not what this review is about. But anyway, I came into The Witcher, Netflix, sort of not blind. Like, again, I knew, basically what I knew when I jumped in was Geralt of Rivia is a witcher, and they kill monsters for money, or helping. And he has a romance with someone called Yennefer, who's like some sort of witch, and also Triss, who's also some sort of forest witch. And then he has this, well, not biological daughter, but sort of a daughter. He's a father figure to her, I think. Well, that's what I thought. Ciri. Right. Basically, that's what I knew when I jumped into the TV show. Like, even, okay, again, this is not a spoiler, this is just, like, Witcher. Like, if you played The Witcher, you'll know this. Like, literally in the first 20 seconds of the show, he takes a potion, Geralt, and his eyes go, and his face goes white, and his eyes go, and it looks weird. I didn't know what that meant, so I asked my friend, and he was like, oh, it, means they get poisoned by the potion they take. And I was like, oh, okay. So I didn't know anything about, like, the Witcher world itself. Anyway, I started watching it, and I was really enjoying it. Like, actually, well, the first 10 minutes, I was a bit like, I don't know. But after episode 1, I jumped straight into episode 2, straight into episode 3. I think maybe I'll grab some food, whatever. I really enjoyed it, is my point. And then the next day, I watched episode 6, 7, 8, right? To its entirety. I love that. And now I'm playing through The Witcher 3. And I think I'd probably rewatch the TV show if I didn't, or the show, if I didn't, if I had time. Yeah, I loved it. I definitely recommend it. It's probably not, I don't know if it's my favorite show, but it's up in top 3, I'd say. It's really, really good. A really, really good TV show. I'd say if you jump in completely blind, knowing nothing about The Witcher, I'd say don't do. I'd say go in and Google Geralt of Rivia, or like, what is a Witcher? Ask about that, right? Or I can just explain it now. Like, basically, what you need to know in order to enjoy the show is, what is a Witcher? Like, what do they do? And okay, you need to understand. You need to know what a Witcher is, and then you need to know basically that there's monsters in the world, like ghouls and, well, griffins, whatever. It's like mythological, I guess, creatures and monsters and whatnot. You need to know that. Also, in the show, there's excuse me. In the show, there's sort of timelines. So you follow one character that's sort of in the past, and then you follow another character that's in the present, and then you follow Geralt, who's sort of in between, right? And this character catches up to Geralt at some point, Geralt at some point, and that's great. And then they catch up with the other character, which is amazing. Personally, I love that type of stuff in TV shows and movies, where we follow different times or timelines, and they catch up with each other and such. I really, really enjoy that. And online, I've read a lot of people have found that, like, confusing. But personally, I didn't at all. I found that really interesting, the timelines. But I can see why you would find timelines confusing, but at the same time, no. I didn't find it confusing. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's all I want to say. I don't know. This is a bit of a shite review, I know that. I just wanted to get my thoughts out because I really enjoyed the show. I was also considering making a review on The Rise of Skywalker, but I thought, I won't. Anyway, The Witcher Netflix TV show. Definitely recommend it. Definitely at least a 9 out of 10 for me, and I'm really looking forward to season 2. And yeah, like I said before, all you need to know, if you know nothing about The Witcher, if you just, that looks interesting, then what you need to know is you know, what a Witcher is, that they kill monsters and they have mutations. And they're, you know, sort of super soldiers, essentially, and that the world is sprawling, I guess, in a way, with monsters, and creatures, and the Witcher is paid to kill those things. That's basically all you need to know, and then the story is amazing. Like, I really enjoyed it. A lot of people have mixed feelings about it. I don't know. I really loved it. So, a lot of people are comparing it to Game of Thrones, which I don't think is a fair comparison. Like, they're not the same show. And secondly, it's just, like, just because you have a TV show that's a fantasy adult TV show, and you have another one that's also a fantasy TV show that's for adults, like with like nudity and such, and really like adult. Anyway, that doesn't mean they're the same thing. They're definitely not. Like, they're different things. Anyway, again, all I want to say for like the fifth time, please go watch it. Like, I really enjoyed it, and I really recommend it to you. So I mean, if you have Netflix, I recommend go watch it. Like, at least a couple episodes. I feel like if after like episode 2 or 3, if you don't like it, I feel like you won't. But I've also heard other people who have played the games and people who haven't and know nothing, whatever. A lot of them really enjoyed it. So you can still really enjoy the show if you don't know anything about The Witcher. I guess that's the video, so thank you for watching. You can subscribe if you want. I don't know really what I'm doing anymore. And leave a like, actually, if you enjoyed it, because, yeah. And then, you know, if Sven is here, he can comment if you want. But, yeah.